Okay, and here we are in Avorion again, and unlike yesterday, I now have added a second ship. Now I'm going to give it some orders here, and we're going to go beat up on some enemies here. Where did they come from? Well, here they are. Wait, wait. Might have to lessen the graphics here a bit. I was playing with them up a bit. Here, we'll do that. There we go. That'll be a little better. There we go. Maybe. I also dropped it down to 50 frames a second instead of or there he goes. Okay. All right. Let's see. As soon as they turn red, he should now be into attacking enemy mode. There's one down. So yeah, I was watching Pusa Studios again, and apparently it appears that the U.S. government has brought together all the big tech companies, and they had a sit down about how they're going to carve up the internet, basically screwing everybody else. And you ask yourself, well, so what's the big deal? Well, they're going to be gutting probably Section 230, and what they'll do is the same thing with COPPA, right? And how YouTube then turned around and asked for, like, you know, hey, we did exactly what you wanted and a little more. How about giving us a little exception to these things so we could be safe, right? That's what they're going to do. And how this is going to affect things is that every single one of us, okay, is going to have to require to pay for some kind of insurance, probably, to stay on YouTube or transmit, because of the liability that we'll then incur. Okay, that's how this can go when you remove Section 230. Now you ask yourself, why does Steven Crowder not give a shit? I'll tell you why. Because he's got 4 million subscribers, he's got a ton of money, he can afford a lawyer, half Asian bill, right? And, you know, he can pay those insurance fees. You can't. That's why you don't see any of the big guys talking about stuff like this, because they just don't give a shit. They don't care. It doesn't affect them, right? They already need to have a lawyer when they're that big, just to make sure that they don't do things wrong or whatever anyway. And that's part of the evolution of going from a small fry to the medium fry to the large fry to the really large fry. Okay? I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way before I muck around here and get things going. I always like to, you know, say my piece. You know, I'm one of those kinds of guys who, you know what, they could take free speech away from me. I'm not going to stop, you know, I'm not going to stop speaking my mind. You know, if they want to throw me in a prison for speaking my mind, well, go ahead. The more of us you do that to, the more the end of your system comes, right? Anyway, that's the big beef I have with some of these people, and then with the Warner Brothers, okay, people that are talking about DC Universe and their comics and shit. I think you're part of the problem. Okay, I'm actually getting there to that point, right? If Warner Brothers, via Time Warner or whatever their lawyers are, is going to run around YouTube copy striking people for numbers and nickel and diamond people, if you're one of those people that covers DC and all that stuff, you need to find a new hobby, because nobody's going to start watching you anymore, because it's too risky. Okay, it's too risky to deal with anything with Warner Brothers anymore. They're just jerks. Okay, in my opinion, I gotta put that opinion part there. They treat people like this. Treat them, you know, just if if everyone stopped talking about something, what happens to it? It can't get any press. It can't get any traction. Anything it does doesn't make any money anymore, right? And Warner Brothers has been acting this way for a long time, guys. It needs to be, you think of EA and the gaming community as bad, okay? EA didn't go and use slave labor to make the Batman games, okay? And other games, like those Lego ones. That's why they gave all that shit away. I mean, it cost them literally nothing to make those, and they made a bucket. That company made so much money with the Stargate franchises and all that stuff. Where did all that money go? You gotta wonder. There just isn't enough gold toilets and cocaine in the universe for all this shit. It bewilders me. Okay, because you're obviously paying the actors and everybody else to do the work, right? Right? In Stargate, let's say. I don't see any of them whining about it, but anyhow, like and hello also to some of the new people that I picked up there last night when we were talking about all this and stuff like that. You know. Oh, and where's my little ship? Where'd that other guy go? Did he get blasted up to pieces because... Where is he? Uh-oh. Did I just get my other ship blown up? Oh, no, there he is. So this is how you can have up to 10 more ships or something like that. So I go F, you go down to here, you go to orders, and you go escort me, and he'll come over to me. Okay? So I picked Miranda class there, and what I'm going to do is go pick up another captain and get another ship. Alright, so I'll have like 3. Now I picked up a whole bunch of Starfleet vessels there off of the workshop just to have a look at what some of these people have done. Some of them are interesting. I want to kind of show off some of the more unique ones, let's say. Okay, so I'm going to go into here for a minute and I'll just show you. Let's see what the workshop picked up here for all this. Workshop designs. This would be some new stuff. Well, okay, this is one guy's Akira class. This one looks pretty big. It's made of iron and whatnot, eh? That's cool. There's the smaller version there. That's more realistic for its size. Okay, I'll just scroll down and look at some of these. This is the one. This design I'm mucking with is based on this one here. Right. This is half the size of I scaled this up twice the size, just to see if the computer could handle it, and it did. Gives me warnings, and then it just goes away. Let's see. There is a Constitution class. Right. That the same guy did. Pretty nice looking, eh? See what I mean? Eh? There's another one. There's another version of it, I guess. This is more endgame-ish, I think. Let's see, 186. What's the difference here? One has Avorion and one doesn't. Okay, so one's more endgamey. Okay. Lots of Star Wars stuff in here too. All kinds of sci-fi stuff here. Yep. Okay, so we have this one here, which is one of the earlier starships, right? It had the warp nacelles like that. It was kind of a neat one. That was the one that in the first JJ movie that they had there that he was piloting. But it also is canon. Okay, guys, that's one thing to remember, is that other than the way the ship fired its weapons, everything else seemed more or less canon about that ship. All the holographic crap that's on those ships wasn't canon, though. That's where they go wrong with this. They go too high tech, right, compared to the original series, right? They should have toned it down, made them proper, and then people and just had good story and movie, and it would have been great. JJ's just an idiot when it comes to stuff like that. That's, sorry JJ, but if you're not gonna hire a continuity officer and follow canon, then screw you. I don't watch your shit. That's all there is to it. Okay. This one here is too small, but it looks proper. The only thing that I've seen with everybody who's made these, when I look at the original Galaxy class, these nacelles, there's two little red lights in the front, not just one. Okay, so it's kind of a tricky thing that I think you'd have to figure out. Let's see here. We'll just keep scrolling down. Here's the Miranda class, right? This one, this my ally ship here is based on. Now I've got another version here. This one is endgame and bigger, right? Okay, it has some Avorion, right? Now we have a whole bunch of ships at the bottom here. This is what I mean. This one here is a Nova class. This is pretty cool. I like that. It looks slick too. It's nice and small though. That's a good one too. What do we got here? Oh, it looks like an NX class, right? Looks pretty cool. Nice little starter ship, in fact. You wouldn't have to go long before you could get this, right? And this one's another version of it, right? Where it's got the nacelle building out at the bottom here, right? Versus the flat one here. This is like the next version, right? So they're slowly moving towards what would be, you know, a Constitution class. It's sort of the hybrid. This is what I would have done with Discovery. I would have made it like this, and then put this little stupid drive thing at the back. And I would have done a few other different things too, right? But hey. Here's a neat looking ship, eh? Very starter-ish. Yeah. A lot of these are. See, these are some of the older vessels, right? See? Move up into here. And we have some variations on the NX class, right? Looks pretty cool too. Yep. Yeah, looks nice. See, and then you got this version, right? Here's an old berth. I like these. However, it's not exactly correct, but I could see a design like this where you would do that. And here's some nacelles for stuff. Let's see here. What else we got here? What's this? Oh yeah, Proxima class battleship. This is a big one. Okay, so this is kind of like how I've done things, right? Where, like this one here, this is seriously endgame. Okay, see how they've gone and put the impulse engines, right? Basically right there, right? You got two giant size impulse engines, right? And then you got the quad nacelle thing, because I started doing this little thing where I added extra nacelles, and then people have started rebuilding some starships. You know, I just suddenly started seeing some neat little designs. I like this one because it's kind of like you've got the Miranda class thing here. The only problem I have is that this part here is not high enough up. Basically, the reason you had this here, there was a weapon on it, and it could fire over the top of the starship, right? And you don't have much of an arc if something goes lower than the saucer section. So you'd want that to be higher up, or get rid of it altogether, right? And just have weapons, you know, underneath and above the saucer section, and then have a couple point defense on each of the sides or something. That's just sort of a. I like that ship though. I like the fact that, you know, people are getting inventive about how to do things, and you know, mixing and matching different parts and pieces, right? I like that. That's neat. And it's big. That's the other point to make here. Okay, and then we have some Romulan vessels, right? Here's an earlier one that some guy made, alright, of a Diedrichs. Right, this one's pretty cool. I like this one because it's got the right color of green, right? It has that feel. And it was explained on a video there why up until this got shown, you had this space in between here, okay? Right? Like you see that space in between the two nacelles? It's because in order for these style of warp engines to have a warp field, they had to be able to have line of sight on each other. And that was how, the warp field got created. Later versions and newer versions of warp engines got around that design. That's the way you say that. Instead of saying, oh, they just broke canon and just started doing whatever they want. No, they just figured out how to do it without having to, whatever. That's an advancement, okay? That's how you go forward in tech. Now this one's it's got the right dimensions and stuff. It's just that I don't like the design where he didn't make this smooth on the thing here. Right? Here's another. I don't know what that is. It's like the captain's boat thing or something. Now this is a neat one that I like. Right? It's completely original. Right? That's just trippy looking, right? It's got like 6 warp engines, right? Right? Here's another one based on that kind of a neat thing, right? Let's see here. We got a proper sized galaxy yet. Now this one finally starts to look like a galaxy, except that it has that look that it doesn't quite fit. It looks more like an ambassador class ship, right? I don't know. And this is more of a proper Excelsior. I like that. That's nice. That's a neat one too. Here's another variant of the Miranda class. All right. There's another Constitution. This one's nice. This is like the old style, right? Yeah. Let's see here. Something's gonna pop in here. Science Cruiser. This is TMP. Now there's extra bits and parts for these ships that go on them. All right. Like, look at this one. This is a big ship as well. This is a battleship as well. It's like a huge. It's like taking the Miranda class front end, placing it on a Starfleet vessel, and I would hazard to say that this type of system, like, see how that back part is? This piece here, right? If this was an actual design, would be something that could be made that could come apart, right? And then you have like a sort of pseudo ship, right? There's not really much of a case for having to need a separatable saucer section unless you have, civilians on board that you need to evacuate, really, because it just it lessens the ability of the ship as a whole to actually do some fighting. And of course, we have a space station. Just sort of a that one looks like a base design you can play with. There's a warp nacelle, right? Yeah, interesting. What else we got here? Oh, we got a whole bunch of stuff today. Told you I was busy last night. There's one of the old class, right? There's an old one. Haven't seen one of these in a long time. Wow. What's this one here? Ooh, this is a neat looking design, eh? You got some reinforcements for where this is. This is one of the reasons why I'm building that piece at the back of this ship that goes across for reinforcing the area. And see right here, if this was slanted upwards, like up to about here, you could put weapons on it and it might have a better arc, right? That would be kind of the, here's an actual old berth, right? This is more proper to what cannon looks like. This is like it has like its impulse thing down in here. Used a lot for science and different stuff like that. And then, of course, if you're building a faction, right, you got to have some cargo carriers, right? Look at that, eh? Just put a bunch of those right in there, right? Here's another good one that you could use for cargo, right? Yeah. Won't be fast, but it'll get there. Okay, and there's another little design someone made. Kind of slick. Geez, and of course we have the old Intrepid class. Yes. Yeah, okay, it's got the thing in the right spot. Got all the right dimensions. Yep, yep. Here's another Romulan ship. This one looks trippy. Another Klingon vessel over here. This one looked neat. Okay, we got a Vulcan ship here. Alright. Yep. Another Diedrichs. This one's really starting to look fleshed out. Yeah, that looks nice, eh? I think that's it for that. So I wanted to go through that. I wanted to, you know, check things out here. Where was that big battleship one? Is this one? Tartan class. This looks interesting. So if you're coming at you, you'd see that. Broadside, it's that. Not bad either. Anyway. So now when I issue that command escort me, any sector I go to, it'll come with me. Alright? Alright. So let's lessen my bandwidth or graphics a little bit here. And we'll take the shaders down to compatibility. There we go. And let's see. We'll turn this on. None. Turn the reflections off. There we go. Okay. Now I'll head into the chat and say hi to some people. Yeah, like I said, man, this game gets right whacked. Okay? Imagine me having to command 10 starships. Hell. Hell. Yeah. So, yeah. Just kind of waking up, and I went for a coffee, and, you know. I know I didn't get a tea, but, you know, it takes longer for them to make a tea than it is a coffee. You can put a pot of coffee on there, and then it's done, right? He didn't have any, he doesn't have enough tea drinkers down there, I guess. So, good strong tea in the morning will wake you right up for a couple hours. I slept weird. It's like I don't know. It's not like I'm sore or anything like that. Or it just feels like kind of like comfy. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird feeling this morning. Anyway, I don't know. Some people asked me to think about making a union in Canada for YouTubers, and I was like, that's a lot of work, man. A lot of paperwork, a lot of legal stuff, and then you're gonna, you know, and I just, it's one of them things where I've been in big unions, and I've seen just how they corrupt things too, and it gets bad that way too. And so it's better to maybe have everybody, you know, have a couple of people that gets together and, hey, how you doing, Matthias? And kind of, you know, has their voice, and then can just, you know, shout it out. Oh, I'm not too bad today. Not too bad. I'm just kind of sitting back. I added another ship there, and mucking around in this game. In a couple of hours, Assassin's Creed Syndicate comes out. I put that video that it's going out free, and almost 400 people have looked at it. So maybe that's a game I'll go try out. right? I tried Black Flag, and that was a while ago. And I don't know. It just was one of those games I didn't feel I liked, but I don't know. I'll give it a try, and if I have some fun with it, and yeah, and if it gets lots of views and traffic, yeah. Hey UFO, how you doing? How are you doing today? Have you managed to get things sorted for yourself yet? Uh, we were talking about that at Stevie's place there, where I think it was what you just needed what some extra watch time or something, wasn't it? Like you got all the subs, you just didn't have enough people watching stuff. See, and it's a sad thing because people that do the drone stuff are really interesting to watch, but it's a seasonal thing, right? You don't really see too much of it in the winter, eh? Just give me a second here. I'll. Oh, 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 oh! We're in a fight. These guys, quick! You're dead. You're dead. Order. Oh, my guy took some damage there. Let me do this quick. Orders. Attack enemy. He had his shields whacked there. So when you start the game back up every time, it has this tendency to, there we go. You're gonna go after this guy. Okay, maybe I should go over and beat the guy up. There. Done. Ouch. I got some damage there too, eh? Oops. I bet you he did too. Shields are down pretty good. Going after. Oh, one guy left. He's going after him too. My weapons are OP. I built them. Yeah, I did the crafting system. It's just, and I'm in creative mode, so I can do building and different stuff. See, what I'm doing is I'm bringing in all these different Star Trek ships to refit them so that they're useful in a game, and then the game auto saves them, so I can like do a save like refit. I'll put the word refit in and give it the same name, and then when I go to make a faction, right? Like you see how there's this shipyard and all this stuff over here, right? I can actually make a Star Trek, like a mod that makes that into a Star Trek Federation faction. So instead of this station, I could make a station for this, a station for that. Like there's a lot of work to do here, but and you got a shipyard, so you can make a like one that looks like that Planitia one there, Utopia Planitia or whatever it's called. You could do this for every kind of sci-fi genre, right? Babylon 5, Star Wars, the problem with Star Wars is you really don't see too many of their space stations, right? Because the Star Destroyers are the space stations that just wander around. And most of their bases are thusly on worlds, right? Like as garrisons, right? That's the kind of, like, you don't see where they build like the actual in any of the movies or anything, the actual shipyards. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't remember ever seeing any. Then again, I haven't watched most of this new Star Wars stuff anyway, because I seen the first one and it just turned me complete off. It was just a rip off of A New Hope. And the one thing I don't like is he just making a worse version than the other one. I mean, I could give you some props if you did better. It's just like JJ doing the Wrath of Khan, part 2, and it wasn't as good, in my opinion, right? So anyway, let me repair this before we get silliness going on here. Um, oh, they've almost repaired it already. See, I got engineers, mechanics, and everything that will eventually repair things anyway. But I was just going through a rundown of looking at, like, I'll show you guys what I was looking at for ships in here, right? I went to the workshop and just grabbed a whole bunch of other people's ships. Whoops, wrong one. This one. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different ships here, right? And I was looking at this one because it's one of the biggest ships in there for Star Trek. And what it's done is just taken a Miranda class saucer section and placed it on like a refitted Enterprise and scaled it up. Like, this is a big ship, right? And then you got all the different little variations and stuff here. So the idea is to find a class of ship that you could start the game with, right? And then, you know, as you get more funds and materials, you can upgrade and have different paths, right? So you could have bigger mining ships, bigger salvaging ships, bigger defense vessels, which are like what you think of for Starfleet, right? And, you know, have a science class where it's really fast. It has lots of ability to travel, but not so much in the way of defenses, right? Other than maybe it would be heavier on shields, right? And and the neat thing about this game is they actually have mods that do hull polarization stuff, which would then lead to what your NX class is, right? I'll show you a mod for that. That's these things here. No, not those. These. Hull polarizer, yeah. So this would go on something for an NX class. Like if you wanted to play in character, you wouldn't be able to put any shields on that vessel, right? You'd only be able to use hull polarizers. And if you did a themed thing where it was, you start off in the universe and say each month is, you know, 10 years, and then you could go and get different vessels introduced into the game too. You could have a thing like that. And where my Omicron, which is your firepower, is 665,000, the other vessel that's sitting out there only has half of that. That's because this one's just massive. And as you can see, I got into doing a little extra more building here, where I'm starting to bring this over, where I'm doing this, and I was mucking around here. I took this out. I'm going to make this come forward to right about where this is. So I got to redo that side. And what that's going to do is change the yaw on this a little bit. The problem is the center of mass of this thing is probably sitting right there, so it gets less effective the closer up I go here, and that's why I tiered this in, okay? Right, like kind of like a curve. Plus the fact that I can remove this part and then just bring this down, right? And curve it in like that too, and give it a neat little effect on the nacelles, right? For when I skin it up. And to show you what a skin would look like, you go over here, and the idea is to use, I guess it would be trinium? And you could go to trinium armor, right? I don't know what this will look like. Is that what, let's just put a block there. Is that what it looks like? No. I think, what is this? It doesn't tell me what it is. It's too bad. Let me see here. I find a block that looks like that. I remember I saw a block that looked like that, and I can't remember where it is now. Oops. Glass, reflector. Is it stone? No. Maybe it was this stuff. Yeah, it is this. It is this material though that you use, right? And that, like if I went, like you can see how it's the same style. It's just then I just then go over and paint it white, right? So what the idea is that then you remove this little lip at the bottom and you just bring these things down to where it goes a little. You got to bring it out, and you got to leave about a space of even a half a block will do it, so that all these thrusters are useful, and then you know that's how that works. So, I'm just mucking around today. Just kind of waiting for that Assassin's Creed to come out. I guess there's a lot of people that like that game. I don't know. That's one of the. I think Syndicate is newer than Unity too, and I was wrong in the video. It wasn't. It was Assassin's Creed Unity that had the French building there that got burned down, the Notre Dame. A user corrected me on that, and I remember stuff about that now. And there was some kind of a thing with Ubisoft years back where uh, all of us Canadians got to get what was it, Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Watch Dogs 2 free. So whenever I log in, I can download those two games anyway. And I like Ubisoft. They're doing a thing with Division 2 right now where it was $3 US for a game, the game, or $4 Canadian, right? Like that's pretty cool. I mean, you can't beat that, for a game, right? Like, I mean, you got to get some money for it. And I think the way, and one user was asking me if they'll do more of this, and I'll say this: they have some DLC for this Syndicate game. Yeah, I'm sure that if you get the game for free and then go buy one of the DLCs, it would encourage them to do similar things with some of the older titles. If hint, hint, nod, nod, right? You know, like that's what I'm. Think about it this way: Total War Warhammer did it twice, where they made their game super cheap compared to what it regularly is, right? And they even listened to me when I said, "Geez, if you were just did it another couple days, I'd buy, whatever," right? And then, sure enough, they did that. So that was cool, right? That's when they do nice things, you give a company props, right? When they're doing Warner Brothers things, you give them a big middle finger. Like honestly, it even irritates me to see people reviewing DC movies and comics. It does. Just because it's part of the Warner Brothers, that whole bunch of creepy weirdo slaver jerk people, right? So, and they did. They screwed me right large. Like I'm getting older, man. Like the more older I get, the less I'm able to do or want to do more of the things. Like 8 years ago would have been a great time for me to have started my 3D business, and where would I be today, right? I'd either have succeeded and maybe have been in this gaming development thing and had my attitude in it and maybe making some good, decent games for everybody, or I'd not be, right? You know, and, you know, I can't do that business when you got people undercutting me at less than what I'd even be able to charge legally for minimum wage to any employee I'd have. I mean, how do you do that, right? Assholes. It's just assholes. Yeah. And these are the same people during our copyright changes of the law a few years back. I had a 3 week argument with their lawyers on Facebook about the copyright levy. I says, you know what? We could give, instead of having a copyright levy, we could put $1.50 on everyone's internet and put up a BitTorrent site, and that would double the amount of money you guys get from the levy, and it would statistically show every single thing there, so you could pay that show how much money as per a part of that base. And they were just asshole. They ended up sounding right bloody insane about it all, right? And so I gave up, and then about a couple weeks later, Warner Brothers came out with an idea that was like $25 a month, right? Where even if you don't watch stuff, see, that was the thing about this levy, is that even if you weren't watching things, okay, you would be still paying this fee. And the idea was, at $1.50, it doubled what they were getting off of the CDR levy, right? So it's an improvement. Take it, right? And then you set up, and then I even went and said, here's how you set up a council, right? In law, that's by the majority of the citizenry, okay, for any increases to it. Don't like that. No, no, can't have that. Can't have citizens, in charge of what would they would be charged by. You see, yeah, and that was the big thing there, eh? That just showed the pure greed of these jerks. It was nasty. I was like, and the other thing to say is, then Michael Geist comes along and that Boing Boing guy, and they just shove me right off to the side, right? While I'm trying to do something great for my country, right? I had lots of support about it, and they did everything they could to make me irrelevant in that situation, right? That's why I don't have very much respect for either of them anymore. They both and they both turned into like lawyery types that are just, you know, and the Boing Boing guy, he supports SJW people, right? There was somebody that went onto his site talking about how they were attacked on Twitter, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. Yeah, give me a freaking break. Welcome to the bloody internet, you know. Have a thick skin and enjoy your life, you know. If you want that safe space, unplug the Ethernet cable and have your video games and everything and just play by yourself. You know? I don't know. There's just, it comes down to if you're a nice enough person, people will recognize that and they'll say, why are you bothering that person? And then other people will come by and they'll start bothering the person that's the bully. That's how it ends up, eh? Bullies never last, okay? They don't. You don't go around. Nobody on earth, okay, in reality, goes around trying to be tough like that. Because sooner or later, somebody bloodies their nose and that's the end of them. That's just all there is about that. Anyway, yeah. Okay, now I can get back to where I was before. Okay. Just stop here and go into chat and say hi to more people. Lots of people showing up today, so it's good to see you all. Yeah, I kind of flipped right out on Warner Brothers. I don't know what's going on. My game keeps on freezing event on multiplayer server. Well, one of the things you got to realize, Deuce, is it Deuce or Deuce? Is you got to have the right version too. And if you have a really high ping, right? Like what I do when I go into the multiplayer is I'll click on there's a thing for a ping, and the ping is you to the other guy's server, how fast you connect, and then I look to see where I can connect to. Sometimes it just might, disconnect you, right? And I had one version that I was being a bit critical of the guy that was making this game because he was trying to make it seem like he's only been developing this game for 3 years, and it's actually from 2013. But you got to remember, it's only him and another guy right up until 2017, and then I think he got a little bit of extra help. So, hello, how you doing, Shabbat? How you doing there? I'm just mucking around in Avorion, talking to people here, and just sort of, shooting the shit about some events from last night and the last couple of days where, you got Warner Brothers going around trying to pester people with numbers, right? I'm pretty sure numbers was invented a couple of thousand years ago or so. I don't know, like, I think it's the Arabs that invented our numbers. I can't remember. I'll have to look that up. But I know the number system is really, really bloody old. Okay? I think copyrights run out on it. Okay? So when anybody gets hit by any of these things where they're trying to copyright a number, right? Take it right to a lawyer and say, listen, I'll give you 30%. Let's go large on these jerks. We'll make it a class action lawsuit. Right? And then you'll have a bunch of people join that. Warner Brothers wouldn't even show up in court. I guarantee you. They wouldn't. They'd be embarrassed to show up in court for that. The judge would look at that and saying, "This is not only abuse. This is almost blatantly criminal." Okay. Like you can make a movie called 300. Okay. And if somebody uses imagery from the movie, right, with the title 300 in it, that's then a violation. However, if I'm talking about 300 pieces to my starship and put that in there, and they try to copyright claim that, that's not doable. You can't claim the number 300 in that sense. What you're looking more like is they want to trademark phrases and names and stuff like that. But you can't do that to common things, okay? You're not supposed to be able to do it, okay? Right? Um, and the thing when it comes to persons' names, if I actually am that person, right? I could actually then take them to court if they tried to do anything, or I needed to clear out that trademark, right? For obviousness, or it's me. you know, there's a whole bunch of this stuff, and that's the thing with all this. It gets really. That's why people say go get a lawyer, right? Because it gets complicated, and there's all these little silly little rules, right? Like I see that whole law today talking about is all streaming copyright infringement. Like this is where, up until now I was kind of with them on a lot of issues, right? And now we start to see a divide between the people and the lawyers. Lawyers need to make money, right? So they need these laws to exist so that they can make money. If they don't exist, the lawyers don't make as much money. Okay? This is where the difference between me and a bloody lawyer is. Okay? I'm about me and my friends and everybody else around me. Okay? I don't want people getting messed with. Okay? I don't want laws that are useless other than taking people's money for no reason. There's no creativity in this. There's no creativity being lost. There's no damage to the number 300 or 3 or 36 or 50. Okay? There's no damage to Warner Brothers. Okay? The damage is to the person who's having a copyright strike so they could lose their channel, their monetization, their making them try to look like a criminal by doing these things as an illegal act, because that's what these copyright people do. They go around and say copyright infringement, you're stealing, you're thieving, right? So they're lumping you in with someone who goes down to the store and steals a TV, right? Two different types of people, right? And this is where you get them face to face in a court. They start to melt away, these people, about their arguments. Okay. The problem is, we're never usually face to face. But anyway, so yeah, just mucking around doing things. I'm in creative mode, just doing things. Like I say, I go in here, and this is a voxel game. Right? $20 on Steam, Avorion. And look at the kinds of things I'm able to do with it, right? Like I created these. Or no, what one was the one I created? Where is it? This sucker. No, I don't even have the one I created on here at the moment. Or do I? No, I don't, do I? Hey, what did I do with it? Oh yeah, I took it off. Did I? Wait a minute. Oh yeah, this is the one I created right here. And they're small. They're size 1 and do 45,000 damage. Just woo. Yeah, come on up here and say hi to me. Don't mess with the Federation. That's it, eh? I put a little couple point defenses around the side. And the thing is, the other thing I have to do here is I have to bring this lip out over here and kind of do a kind of a bump here or something like that, because to make this a more functional vessel, you have to have more left and right on here. I'm just about there. It'll go blue if I start doing things, but if I start reskinning it again, then it goes back to the yellow again. So that was kind of like where I was at the other day when I started messing with this. And one of the neat things I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of the ones at the bottom here, and then I'm going to create another lip like this where there's a space in between here, and I'm going to have it like tubular going around these, right? And have it kind of look as rounded as I can. All right. Now you could the problem with doing stuff like that with making things look round, you have to use a lot of blocks, and this is a danger for this ship. It's already got over 30,000 blocks, and that's where you start to get your danger zone. All right. And merging blocks can only take you so far. I've got a ship that I kind of piece together different things from other people, and it's just massive, massive. And then the only way I could get it to work was to merge blocks and merge blocks and merge blocks, and it's still. I used it to get the 12,000 meters per second speed bump. There's an achievement you can get on Steam, and that was me, no mods, no creative mode. That was in multiplayer. When I loaded that ship on, everybody said, "You bastard, you're lagging us." I says, "I'm going for the speed run." I'll unload it after. It's like, yep. Yeah. It's getting there. Like, I mean, the whole point is that I gotta, you build the guts in, right? And then you gotta go and skin it afterwards. I like to do that off, and no offense to everybody. I mean, I got a potato PC, and or I do it online and show you guys and just sit here for about the next 8 hours doing it, right? Because that's like what I do. I'll sit here offline and I'll just do it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, right? I mean, the other guy was in here going, "Well, how come you're not in insane mode on in multiplayer?" And I'm like, "I'm building a ship. I don't want to be bothered, right, by players coming by going, aha, boom, you know, you know, get stream sniped or some shit, right? You know, like, it's a thing, right? Like, I would think it would be funny the first few times something like that happens, honestly. You know, I think, you know, the funny part of that is just somebody actually taking notice of you to actually go and do something like that, right? That's kind of like cool in itself, right? That they wanted to bother you, you know? When they don't get the rise they want, that's when they don't bother doing that again, right? That's the thing, right? You, and that's one of the things I try to teach people too about gaming is, you know, have some fun with it. Be serious about what you're doing, but not that serious that you're gonna flip out or freak out on people, right? I've been around. I've been playing games since 1982. That's how long I've been around. So, yeah. BBS boards, everybody. Yay. A point .3 baud modem on a VIC-20 with a tape drive. There were no disk drives back then, man. Not at first. Wasn't for, I think, till 83 or 84 when they came out with those honking large floppy drives. What's ironic is the tape drive, if I still had those tapes, they would be in better condition than a CD or DVD if you just left them like in a case. All right? Because CDs and Blu-rays are made of there's metal bits in them. So they rust. Right? The magnetic tape is magnetic tape, right? It's the magnetics that keep the data, right? That'll last thousands of years, man. So one day, you know, 1,000 years from now, when humanity's all dust, right? They're gonna find a VIC-20 game, woohoo, that I made, because you didn't have games back then that at first either, right? You had to make your own games. Oh, where is he? Where is he? Is that him? Where is he? Uh-oh. Where's my ship? Where's my buddy? Where is he? I can't see him. Uh-oh. Where'd he go? Is he behind me? Where are you? There you are. Okay, I gotta do this. Orders. Attack enemies. There we go. Small group of alien ships. Now when they come in here, when I attack them, he'll go and attack them too. Where are they? Where are they? Where are those guys? They're over here. Oh, they're attacking the station. Can't have that. Ready? Fire! Gotta get in range. Yeah, not much is gonna live against that. Mind you, yesterday I went into another sector, right, thinking I was all tough guy, and just about got whooped. I came out of there with like my shields like gone and damaged to me, like half my integrity field is like fried. And it's like, oh no. Ouch. Good thing I turned collision down. So I'm going to show you something else here, right? Okay. So, I got a captain on both ships so that if I leave either ship, it'll be hosted okay, right? So I can go like this, and I'm in the other ship now. Ha 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 ha. Whee! Look at this sucker. This one has no... Literally, you can just turn on a dime, like, woo! Woo! Oh yeah. I think I'll increase its shield, so... Oh, he's still damaged, eh? Okay, we'll go in and repair you. What's going on here? Oh, just minor stuff. Let's see here. Change his loadout a bit. Let's see. Yeah, that's the other thing. He has a range too, right? Like for things, so that if I jump too far, he'll have to do several jumps to get to you. Like I can order him to go places, guard stuff, you know. This is the Miranda class, right? And this is what I just did this quick, right? I just wanted to put a bunch of weapons on him at the front, right? What I should be doing, and then I up here, because on the original show you had weapons up here, so I put a bunch up here, right? And I think in the other show, like right here, is where you should be putting weapons in here and here, right? Like that's where he left little spots for them, right? And up here and up here and up here. I just like the forward smash everything thing, you know. It's just kind of woohoo. This is very well done design this guy has done. I don't see any need to really change much other than maybe if you wanted to go end game with it, you change the material, right, from trinium to Avorion, or maybe, you know, something like that, right? Like you could make a version of the ship, right? Like, see, trinium has armor, okay, right? Has high durability, high mass, stops railguns. So those things that I was shooting, right, the railguns, do very little damage to it, right? The problem is energy weapons, not so much good against, right? And this is why different materials, right, have different things, right? See, this one stops railguns, right? And then you go to Oganite, which is the heaviest armor, right? You can go down here to, where is it? This one here makes you immune to electricity weapons, right? Like there's different things you can do with different stuff, right? Let's see. Wait a minute. Did trinium have any of that? Let's see. No. Yeah, there's that again. Immune to electricity weapons. And the reason for that is, you know, electricity also does in shields really well, as does the plasma, right? And once the shields are down, right, you use these polarized hull things. See, it would be nice if we could have
a few more slots for things. And you can mod that up so you can do more, right? Like seeing how this guy made it so you have extra slots for weapons and things. You can do that. Um, you can do other things with it too, which is cool. But yeah, the main thing about multiplayer is you got to watch your ping. And if it's above, I'll say if you're above 150, you're going to cause problems for the server. They may have even set it up so you can't connect, right? Like I could set up a multiplayer server here in Canada and just sort of leave it for a day or something like that, you know. Put up a password in a Discord so people can muck around in it, you know. Just as a test, we could do that as a test for a day, you know. Like, think about it like this: Tech Savvy cost me 50 with taxes is $50 a month, and I'm allowed to run the services at home. I could have a second account in this very room here and run services like that, right? And then you know who it is. It's me running things, not some nameless Joe out there. And that was part of when I did some business before doing stuff like that, and people like that, right? They like having somebody that they can talk to in a chat, you know, and interact with and everything else, right? The thing is, what do I got? 15/10, right? So that would be enough bandwidth. I would assume that maybe say 4 or 5 people could play, right? I mean, that's just sort of an idea, right? And I can bond the lines together. So if I spend $100, I could get 30/20. And in some areas, like I could go and get. See, you can get. My roommate has the Kojiko cable through Tech Savvy, and he gets a higher band. He could get higher bandwidth, right? Go up to something like 40 megabit. But they don't allow you to run the services because they have a business set up for that. But it's $200 a month for that. Like, I mean, this is where, geez, look at the money I'm saving, right? I could get 3 of these accounts and have 45/30, right? And be out doing cable. It's pretty whacked. Yeah. Let me see here. I'll get in the chat and see what you're saying there. Sorry, I was just sort of looking at stuff. Yeah. Yeah, like you see, this is it, eh? Like, they added the ability, eh, for us to add factions. So maybe what I was thinking is I should post a forum thing there on Steam and say, okay, let's make a Star Trek faction. Let's everybody get together and help, you know, figure out how to do this and whatnot. And then add it as a mod so everyone can grab it, right? And then you'd be, you know, it'd be your own Star Trek Online, you know? Oh, you wouldn't believe how many people would suddenly start playing that shit. You know? How you doing, Hilmy? Is it Hilmy? Yeah, how you doing? Thanks for dropping in. I'm just mucking around with my little, I guess, creative mode. Oh. And it looks like we're about to get attacked by some pirates here. Let me deal with that. Let me get this guy going here. Hold on. Yep. Gotta give him some orders. Attack enemies. There we go. Now watch. His ship, he's upside down right now. It's funny, eh? See, space that you don't have up and down and around. It's all 3D, right? I love this ship. Woo! And so what I'm doing is I'm making the designs of other creators more useful in the game. They would make something look actually very pretty in like in a sense of aesthetics and the look, but not as functional. So what I'm doing is I'm recreating and adding little bits to, whoa, look at this guy. Oh, he got him. He tagged him. Nice one. See? Here we are. I can just flip around here. Whoa. That's how much bigger this ship is compared to me. Go right up to it. Wow, man, you got a big ship there. Back up here a bit. And see, I'm just doing stuff with weapons, right? Like you could have a ship that does mining. Like I was showing when I started the stream. I go in here and I'll show you guys something. The save designs over here. Where is it? Like in making a faction for the game, you want to have different classes of vessels, right? So you have this one here, which is a cargo runner. So this guy goes and buys and sells between the different stations and makes a profit, right? And a portion of that he would probably donate to the Alliance, right? Which in this case is the Federation. You would have, when you go into sectors, it would generate ships like this that are moving around and doing things, right? And you would have different classes of fighters and everything else. I don't know if anyone made a Peregrine fighter in here, but, you know, wouldn't take much to make one of those. Just look at it and just kind of build it up. And here's a whole whack load of different Starfleet vessels and some of these have a mod that goes with them that allows you to, like this one here, I think it was this the TMP one? Yeah. When it says TMP there's an actual thing that gets added to the ship. Where is it? See right here? These little things here are actual weapons that are already pre-added to the game, right? For housings and stuff like that, right? And I think there's some underneath here. Maybe not. Okay. It adds like the phaser banks and stuff like that to the game. And there was some other ships that he did like that too, right? And it'd be interesting to try them out. Like I like the design of this one here because it actually looks like a funky looking NX with a combination of the Constitution class, you know? This is more this is the refit. Yeah. This is the refit that they did with it has a deflector shield. Now it's, for the first time, an NX class has a deflector shield. In other words, it has shields, right? This is like a very late version, right? There's the original right here. You see, it's really flat. It has no deflector shield. You would use polarizing hull stuff on it. This is what I mean. Like this, there's just so much you can do with this game where it's just fun to muck around with. I've got over almost 1,000 hours in it now. Here's some Star Trek or Star Wars stuff, right? These are fighters. I use these as fighters anyway. This is like Stargate, right? You got Babylon 5 in here, right? Some of these. This one looks a little more. Yeah, that looks a little better. Right, the old Cylon Raiders from Battlestar Galactica. I mean, I even use this as a starter ship. You know, flying around. People are going, "Oh my God! Oh, look at them!" Somebody made a giant robot. There's Gundam in space. You know, it's all kinds of fun you can have with this game. You know, Andromeda, right? There's that ship. Not bad, not bad. Is this the one here? I like this one here, but it's really hard on the system to load in. I'll show you guys. I'll zoom in before it starts rolling around here. Is it this one here? No, it was the other one. I keep doing that too. Where is it? It's got like a whole park and a little city built into the place. This guy was like, this is just nuts. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's kind of realistic because you kind of want to do that, right? You'd want to have a hydroponics base somewhere. Is this one? Oh, look at this one. You can't use this in the game at all. It's just, and the reason is because the camera gets put at the back here, so you'd be staring at the sails. You wouldn't be able to see anything in front of you, right? Not that that matters in a ship like this, because you put all the weapons broadside, I guess, and try to do broadside attacks. I don't know, maybe. Have like one one button's the left, one button's or two buttons the right. All right. Somebody did a board cube. Oh, there's another Stargate like fighter. All right. There's another one. This is sort of a jet thing, and you can see through the glass here, right? If you bring that up, you can see. Somebody once put a guy and two people in a seat in one of these. It was just like, what the heck? This is funny. I used to put this on the front of some of my ships, right? It's just like giant teeth coming at you. Raw. And here's how you make parts, right? You get parts from different guys that have created them already, and then you can just start messing with them, right? And what you do is you would import this, right? Put it somewhere, right? And then you could just take parts off, copy them, and what you do is you copy them into another directory. Where is it here? Let me go back up, way up. I'll show you what I've done here. And where is it? I think it was templates. Yeah, see, like pieces of that other ship. So now I always have a left and right nacelle, right? For making those, right? And the thing I found out was none of these are actually engines. It's just other parts. The actual engines of the ship are buried inside the saucer section, and the very back there, that red bit you see, that you would think is an impulse engine. It's kind of a trick to get things to work right, but hey. Here's a neat little engine that somebody made that, you know, I kind of grabbed, and I like this section here. It kind of looks really freaky. I took it apart, and I was putting it and using it for different things. There's some engines. This thing is huge. Huge. I put like 4 or 5 of those on there, and that's what I use to do the speed run. This is just funny to look at that somebody put that in there. Put it on a space station, I suppose. I took a piece of the EVE Online ship apart. Right, this was a really well done. I'll show you that vessel. There it is here. Right, this is an EVE Online ship. I took the front piece off. Now you can see the back part, right? Like that's really well done. And what I was going to do with this, believe it or not, and I've actually got part of it done, was I was going to make a monstrous size Klingon bird of prey. I would have the wings come down off here and slant down, and then have those little arc things there, right? And then I would do a different front end, right? And then I would fill this in, right? So you would have that giant kind of filled in look, right? And then I would get rid of the bottom section after it was done, right? Like from here down. And I spent 20, 30, 40, 50 hours on that so far, and I never got around to it. They did a version of this where it wouldn't work on my PC for a while, and I just didn't come back for a while. So, yeah. Looks really nice, though. Anyway, let's get tripping around here a little. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see here. I'll go back to the chat for a minute before I go anywhere. I mean, it's really neat how they've done this game. Yeah. But yeah, it's a $20 game on Steam. And this is stuff that, you know, what do you mean? I can get Assassin's Creed when it comes out. I have my own account. I download it, and that's how it works. That's how you do it. Go get an account at Epic's GameStar. That's what you would do. If you can't get an account at Epic's GameStar, I think, you know, there's not much I can do about that. I would email Epic and say something about it. and they're working at their launcher, so they're doing more and more. I saw them doing a couple more updates on things. So they're adding functionality to that, and they're asking even some of the people that do, like, I'm a hobby Unreal Engine guy, right? They ask us to be loud and voice about things we want to see, right? So that they know what to do, right? And they're doing this Blender thing, and like one of the biggest things I was having a problem with was rigging, which is how animation is done in 3D engines and software. And the tutorials are on YouTube are just about basically useless. Okay, you either get those ones that they go so fast you don't really know what you're learning, and or they don't show all the steps or something and they miss one, or there's something that doesn't work because it's a newer version and the user interface changed, or like Blender did themselves, put out a free tutorial on rigging and then put the rig behind a paywall. It's still behind a paywall, Blender. That's like 6 months later after they said a week later they would put it up for free. I just get the feeling from that community like there's a core group of people that just want to hoard all the information to themselves so that they can make more mods for it and thus force people to pay money. It feels forced. You know, it doesn't feel like something I need. I shouldn't need to have this to do regular things, right? A regular thing in a 3D software is rigging, animating. Why is that not a focus? Right? Oh, we're gonna get into a fight again. Are they? Oh, not yet. Not until I shoot at one of them. See, when they're purple like that, where do you go? I just shoot at you. There. Kills bugs dead. No, there's a reason why I'm going up here. He's going after something. He's going after another guy. The reason why I'm wrecking all this, so when I run into it, I can get these things, and I don't have any self-defense. I'm not worried about it. I'm in creative mode. Get out of the way. Thank you. I'll take these. Oh, I didn't get a little blue piece of the Zodin. Let's see here. This is a ton of... Let me put it this way. I beat the guy in the center with a third of the weapons that this ship has. And the other guy has double the firepower of this one. And some people always ask me, how do you protect yourself when you go offline and stuff? Well, you get a couple of ships like this and you put some point defense weapons on them. And you put them to defend yourself. And anything that comes by is going to get whacked. Usually. Right? Yay. It's just funny the way it's just hanging there in space upside down like that. Yeah, it is weird. See, I would put in the script that it tries to at least level out to the way you are. There we go. Just kind of sit like that. Okay, I'll come back to chat for a minute here. It is. It's a nice design, that is. You know, I like that. Himley, I don't know how I can help you. If you're not old enough to make an account at the Epic Games Store, then I can't help you, right? You have to ask your parents maybe to make you an account, and then you can get the game, you see. Yeah. Now imagine me having, 9 more ships, right? That's where this game goes, right? Like, and it's neat because you think, if you got into the modding of this to the point where you're able to make a faction, I would also assume that you're able to go in and add missions, okay? And this is where then you could do, go back to some of the old shows and say, need this to do that, to do, right? You bring this to this sector, and blah blah blah. The only difference is that there's no landing on planets in this game. It's the only thing missing, right? It's like, and that will never happen apparently. So, you know, it'd be like, okay, what would be funny is if when you go to a planet, it says, okay, please start Minecraft now, or something like that. Like, no. Like, I'd like to actually try to do something like this game in the Unreal Engine, right? Without being voxel, right? Because they gave us freely a while back, 6 months ago or so, a building kit. So like you get a radial wheel, and then you can put a wall up, and you can do this and you can do that. So the reason for a radial is so that if you have a controller, you could even do the building, which is kind of an interesting concept. But my idea is you'd have a menu system on that first wheel that says walls, blah blah blah, architecture, engines, things like that, and you could go around the tree and get into different submenus to do building, right? And then it would have your cursor, and you could just build your ship right like that, right? And that would be trippy for a video game, because as far as I know, there are no real good big games that let you actually build your ships, right? Everybody wants to do that shit for you and then sell you it for like $1,500 a shot, at like Star Citizen does. You know. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. So just give me a minute. This is a beta version, okay? So in a way, I'm testing things too. This is part of the reason. Another reason to use the creative mode is because it got some new love, and even a new piece, or a new block, which I had to look at, which is kind of funky. Kind of does this little lighting thing, so you could put little lights around things. It's trippy. I'll show you what I mean. And the way I'll do it on this ship, we'll go into the build mode, and I'll put it right at the front here. This thing here. You'll see in a sec. You think those are blocks, do you? See the lights? There's 3 lights there now that are above there. It's trippy. This is weirdness. I don't know what that'd be for, but someone will come up with something weird with it. I like this ship because of its turnability, you know? It's like, you want to attack me? Yeah? And it's bang! Look at all that weaponry, eh? Oh yeah. Now the two guns at the very top I could turn independent, so they'll just target anybody I want, and you can have up to, I think it's 10 people inside of a ship. This is another feature, I'll show you that. Where is it? That's over in players, this thing. The player menu. La 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 la. You see here, you can give orders there. Where is it? Maybe it is in the thingy. Elite. This one? No. No, don't transfer. Don't transfer. Oh, I can transfer that to the Alliance and then he gets to keep it. Attacking enemy. Oh, okay. What's this do? Tells you your salaries for the crew. Okay. What I think I wanted was the other one. And it was this thing. Co-op controls. So check this out. So I could assign this. I could have 9 players. Right? And then you have this player controls the remaining weapons. So you get all the weapons, right? You could have engineering and different stuff set up, right? And then you can have fighter squadrons, up to 10 squadrons, and you can have 10 more players controlling a squadron of fighters. That's trippy in itself, right? So you could have 20 people on a ship touring around. You know? That's crazy shit. I've never seen anyone use this feature, but it would be an interesting thing to coordinate it. Like, you'd have to use something like Discord with an audio chat and have, you know, like, strict rules on talking, right? You know. Let's see here. Crew. See, this one's almost max for crew, eh? Don't want to dismiss any of those. Anyway. There's all the weapons. Now this is with a mod that gives me 4 times the amount of weapons. Just so I don't have to piss around while I'm building. Something comes up to me and go, die. Go away. Don't go away, Matt. Just go away. Okay, let me see here. Where's the other ship? Get over here. Get over here. Down here. So, first thing you do is click on app. Go to orders. Let's see, escort me. I'm gonna go M. Here's our map. Alright. This is as far as this vessel can jump in one shot. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do a test to see how well that works. What? Oh, it's just out of range. Okay, we'll go to here then. Looks like they're having a fight over there anyway. Right. Go like that. It's funny looking at it sideways like that. Jump route calculated. Now, will the other ship show up? The other ship has a huge range, so it shouldn't be a problem. I just want to see if it'll follow me. It did earlier in a test offline, so we'll just see. Just want to do a couple of jumps, you know, and then see if it works. And then what I could do is I could also leave different ships in different systems and have them, say, guard this or patrol the sector, and it will guard it, right? You can build your own stations, you know, stuff like that. It's just all kinds of fun you can have with this forever, right? Like I say, the only thing that a game like this is missing is being able to land on the planets and do some resource mining on the planets and maybe even having a few battles on the planets, right? Yeah, there it is. Sweet. There's a nice view of it too, eh? Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. And they redid all the stations, right? Now they at least have some color to them, and each of them has a certain design, and each faction has its own design. Like, look at the size of that one, eh? Gas collector. Some of them, I was the first day this came out. I was just wandering around looking at all the stations, right? You know, ooh, look at the new thing, right? There's another neat one. Tesla coils. Look at this station. Wow, chemicals factory. Look at that. That's trippy. Ammunition one. They're all different. That's the neat part. Now that looks kind of the same as that one. You see, the thing was, I started this game before the beta and then brought it up into the beta. So some of the first areas I was in will look exactly like that, the old version. After that, you get the new area look. One of the things I want to do is I want to go fight this one guy in the... if you do 10 jumps and don't get any encounters, he appears the next time usually. It just starts to increase. So we're going to do this. You know what I should be doing? Just a second here. But in creative mode, they added this piece. Okay. So I can outfit the ships better. Like that's how this is how I built that one crazy railgun. Right? You can build torpedoes in here and everything else too in your fighters. And you can make alliances like you, so you don't have to worry about that. The only thing missing out of all of this is generals and commanders, which there's a way around that too. You can, if you have 300 people you need, you can request a little ship to come to you. Let's see here. Now I'll show you this. I click this, and I get a bunch of random system mods. Right? Do that 5 or 6 times, right? Now we're gonna jump back to the other system I was just in. There's distress over there. It's out of range. We'll sort that when I make those hyperspace things change. Now remember, this is an 8-year-old computer, okay? The reason I get by so well on more modern games is because I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, okay? And I actually have the graphics card really cooled, okay? I'm sitting in a room with nice temperature, and it's minus 10 outside. That cold air is being filtered through an air filter and then brought right in onto the graphics card to keep it cold. It's a funky system I got, I'll say you that much. But I haven't had a problem with the graphics card since. And plus the fact that you're cleaning the air before it goes into the PC. I don't know why they don't do that, because, you know, the thing is, most of the newer cards now are getting that liquid cooled contained system where they don't have to worry about that, right? The problem I have with that is if anything ever happens where there's a leak, then you're gonna start having problems. Anyway, okay, so I want to go over to, where is that thing? Oh, he's right beside me. Hello, you. Where is that? Where'd it go? Where is the... No, it's down here. Oh, it's underneath him. Excuse me. Excuse me. There it is. Okay, now I'm gonna give him an order to just like guard this position, so he doesn't follow me into the asteroid field and give me grief. Have a nice day. Stay right there. Don't move. See, that's what I mean about stations now. Doesn't that look like a funky looking station? And then the shipyard over to the next of it, right? Shift bloats way too much. Look at the size of this place. It's neat. So something you'd want to make in a video game and run around in. Yeah, that's kind of neat. So now I just popped to the bottom. Oh, he's guarding that position. See, now they're attacking the pirates. See, this is part of the. I might have to go into the code and like turn that down because every 5 minutes they're gonna start bothering us here. Where is he? Oh, the lag is real now all of a sudden. Orders. You run around and attack enemies. Come on. Whoa! I gotta get this guy out. Yeah, fly right in front of me, you fool. He's gonna whack me if I don't do something here. Come on. Oh, this game! The lag is just too much right now. Sorry, guys. Yeah, sure. This is one of the problems I have. OBS and Google kill me playing this game. Hit him! Oh, you bastard. Oh. I like how the torpedo just suddenly got a mind of its own there, eh? Oh, I'm dead. Really whacked it. Yeah, there goes. There we go. There, he's done. Finished him off, bugger. That hurt. Really gotta do some upgrading. This little guy. And that is a weakness. Come on, let's get over there and hurry it up. That's what they did to me with my main ship in another directories. Just came in and just did wailing amounts of damage to my shields all of a sudden. I'm wondering if what the hell, because it just never did that before. Just do it like this. There we go. Let's load in on that. Let's get back at this and hurry it up. Give me this thing for a second. Come on, up. Ah, I hate when it does that too. Okay. There's not nothing there yet. So we have to look at some of these mechanics about polarizing hulls and things too. Video that I put up for the Assassin's Creed, it's gone semi-viral, and that's why some people are dropping in that are asking silly questions like, can I get this game for them? And they're like, that's like some person at a Wi-Fi center that I don't know what the heck they're trying to do, because go get it, it's free. Install the launcher and go. Must be a reason why you can't do that. You know what I mean? It's just some weirdness there. Gotta say that. Can't do any upgrades on shields there. What are we doing here? Nothing here. Nothing here. See, now it's not giving me shields. Damn stupid thing. Come on, shields. Give some shields, you buggers. Come on, shields. Shields. Where am I at, by the way? 500. Alright. On the bottom. Still not enough to do shields. You'd be kidding me. 1, 2, 3. see, it gave me that. That's this game is really against you getting the hyperdrives. Or the hyper mods. That's why I rarely risk that. Oh, whoops. Where'd it go? Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hyperdrives, I'm not bothering. That's that for now. Okay. Now let me have a look at shields. Be 139. Keep doing this again. I'm gonna do this until I get it done. Come on. Wait for it for a sec. Here, I'm gonna pour some coffee and do another mug here. There we go. Whoops. Yeah. Now let's have a look. Problem with randomized stuff is you get really bad garbage too. Whereas if I go to, I'm gonna have to clean this out eventually, but anyhow. How many hyperdrives you got there? Only 2. Let's look at the shields. Next thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 4, 5. Now hyperdrives. Okay. 130 unmining. Or mining stuff. A little bit more. There we go. In there. 2 of those, spam the living shit out of that. Cheats ahoy! Right? You know. Oh, look at those upgrades I just got. I got 3 of them. Like, really? Alright, now it's starting to give me stuff. Oh, and the big issue with crafting I have, you can only craft up to exceptional. You can no longer craft anything bigger than that. And the second I take that really honking cool gun, if I made 5 of them and tried to upgrade it, it downgrades it to the damage and everything else. In other words, you make a shit weapon out of it. which is stupid retarded. And he did that. I don't know why he did that. It's look what just came into a system and pasted me, right? And I had like a whole whack load of those weapons on the front that was hitting it. But he had, to his credit, he was using something that would be, you know, you need two different weapon types in order to make sure you can take things out, which means your firepower really is half what it really is. Whoops. Let's see here. Research. Bottom again. At the bottom. Excuse me. Let's see. One, two. More. Okay. Where'd those other ones go? Aria. Does it do that? There we go. It would be fun to make a game like this. You can land on planets and build bases too. Now you could make it so that you just have a mechanic that you can't bombard planets or something. You gotta go to the planet and take it, right? That kind of thing. And that would make it more interactive that way. That'd be how I'd do that, so that it's more fun, right? It's not just a let's get the big capital ship in orbit and just bombard somebody to pieces, right? What are we doing up here now? We got 4 of them, 2 there, and a bunch here. Shield Ranger. Ooh, nice. That's nice. That's 153% with a recharge rate. We're getting there on these two. We need a few more. Just a few more. Come on, show up a few. Let's see a few. Come on. By the way, at higher resolution, you get more of those things on the right that show you what you got. It'll do 3 of them at once instead of just showing you one click's worth. Come on. Run out of space here in a minute. Yeah, let's see what we got now. We'll be out of inventory space here. I know I'm damaged. I'll fix it later. Look at that. Absolutely no hyperdrives in that section, eh? Say hi to some more people. Make sure you guys check each other out too, and stuff like that too. It's a good community of people we got around here. And let's see what else we need to do here. Ugh, dry in here. Ugh. It's good though. Woo. Okay, so I was in the blue area. Let's see if we can do anything more. No, looking like it. Nope, maybe for shields, yes. Okay, we'll do this a couple more times. Basically, this what I'm doing here would have taken me 2 days, 3 days the old way, because I didn't have the command thing didn't work like in the console. And when you type it up like /help, it'll scroll up so fast you only see the last half. So there's a whole crap load of commands you can't even see. And then, if you really wanted to know, you have to jump back and forth between wiki pages, which it's just no. You should have, in the encyclopedia should be a list of all the commands in the console. That's what they should do. All this reliance on third-party websites for your tutorials and everything else is not a good sign for gaming. I'm more the type of person, I want you to learn everything in my game. I don't need you going anywhere else. Ouch. Okay, we should have enough now. Get purple hyperdrive thingy. Come on here. Scroll down the bottom. Let's go. Come on here. I only get that many, eh? Well, that's purchase. And it gave me that. See what I mean? Game's against me. Close out of space, that'll do it. See, I was thinking, I'd build this big intergalactic space station one day in here. Just make it just crazy mad looking. Freaky scary, and have spikes and everything else coming off of it. Oh joy. Quick. Pause the game. Repair. Let's do it this way instead. Let's see here. Okay, I increased my shields. Or did I? No, I didn't, eh? Shit. Shit. Okay, get up here. This one. install you permanently. Let's see what happens there. No? Yes? No? Where's the other guy? He's off attacking people. Good. Get some research done. What's going on? Hopefully nobody comes over and takes a swipe at me, but if they do, we have enhanced shields now. Definitely would cause you some lag having this much inventory. So, you know, don't do this. Clean up your stuff. You know, that's kind of like clean your room, you know. Off attacking anything that shows up in the sector. That's hilarious. Me and my bodyguard. My bodyguard. Let's see, 32. What's this one? 34%. Jump rate 6. Recharge energy. Energy consumption. Okay, I'll put this in here. Install it permanently. my shields at? 1,000,000. Well, I'm gonna go into build mode and increase that. Heck with it. I'm gonna go around the back here. I know it won't look pretty, but I don't care. Let's see. We're gonna put a bunch of stuff right on here. Look at how much detail you put onto that, eh? Nice. Where am I gonna put these things? I'll put them up here, just for the heck of it. Okay. Get the control key. There's some extra energy. Alright, other side will be shielding. Where is it? That's like, what, 5? Alright. It's now 1.3 million shields. I do one, I'll go right to the chair. Hold on. You want to do one more? 1.4 million shields. Alright, and then... Let me think here. Back to tritium. Have a look at it. That. Makes it look like bird wings. Okay, we go over to the paint can. And I think it was titanium color. This color? No, it's more of a white. Let's try this one. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. It's lighter than that. Okay. So light gray. Yeah, there it is. There you go.
dude. I need more troops. By how much? More need for crew. 23. Okay, I need a mechanic. 1 mechanic and 3 engineers. Alright, let's have a look. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Have enough shielding anyway. Okay, I'll go up to my other ship here for a minute. I'll order them to, let's see. Smack the shit out of somebody. There it is. Here it comes. Yeah, don't ram into me, eh? Planetary merchant, I gotta go see him. He might have something really cool. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Is that him? No? I don't see where he is. No. Took off. That's him there, I bet you. Let's go over and see.
you'll get them being equipment dock guys, and you can get a Zoten thing off them. It just looks so weird how it does. It looks so weird. You imagine if you encountered a Starfleet vessel and it was upside down like that, right? Like, it looks so weird, right? Why are they putting the engines like that on the top of their ship? It's all about profiling for attacks, right? So, anyway, let's go back to chat for a minute. Say hi to everybody. Hey, Willie. How you doing, man? It is. It's a very cool game, Willie. I'm telling you. It's like anybody who's ever played it goes, holy jeez. The problem is that like on the multiplayer, after a couple of months, whatever the server is, there's just no hardware that can handle it after a while because all the files get bigger and bigger and bigger. But he's been working on that, and it's a lot better than it was. Okay, and with, like I said, with the newer motherboards and CPUs and multi-threading and more cores that come out, like you can go back and look at one of the AMD things I posted there and click on AMD's website, and you know, even the Ryzen is far superior to any this PC's cores, right? Like a system you buy today that's like meh, right, for like $600 or $700 or $800, right? It is going to be literally twice as good at servering this, right? Like I could host for about a month, maybe about 5 people, and then I'd have to reboot the thing. Right? And that's how it, you know. It is a game, I gotta admit. I like the upgrades to the stations. They made even this guy's little ship looks whacked. Like, look at that. Who would have thought of designing a ship looking like that? But see, in space, you don't have to worry about aerodynamics, do you? You can take any shape you want, really. Unless you're landing on a planet or any place with an atmosphere, you don't have to worry about things. The shapes of things now becomes irrelevant. It's about your mission profile, right? You know what you're about. You could make a square, you know, with engines on the back, right? You can do that because there's no drag in space, right? At least that we know of. I mean, there's gravity coming at you in all angles, right? That's not the point, but it's that that is fairly weak, okay, and it only builds up as you approach the speed of light to where it would be an issue, or you know, even as you get to a tenth the speed of light, you might start. That's why it requires more and more energy to get faster. There's just only so much you can do, I guess. Anyway, let's see here. How much time have I been on here? Okay, I'm gonna call this one right now. I wanted to get this in early so I could see if Epic's got the download going there. I'll see you guys, and I'll probably come back playing a bit of Assassin's Creed Syndicate there once I've got it downloaded, which will probably take me a couple of hours and such, so it'll be later in the day. So I'll split up, do 2 mini streams, right? Just so, you know, I can then say, hey, yeah, this is the game, here it is, it works, this is what you know, they're giving out, and they're in a different time zone than me, so even though it is actually the 20th, it's not their business cycle day starting yet. Another couple hours, I guess. Anyway, guys, tomorrow we'll add a couple more ships. We'll kind of start building ourselves a little mini fleet here, you know. I got to get more and more of these upgrades so that the next ship can be done up and everything else. So got the weapons, just need the you know, the mods. So this will be something to go and build on. Okay, guys, have a good one, and thanks for showing up. Let's see here. I gotta check you out there, Shabbat. Just a minute here. How do I gotta do that? I'm not sure if I've checked your site you out yet or not. Let me just see here. Let's do this for a second. Oh, YouTube is laggy, eh? Boy, this is really kind of a... There. Oh, congratulations on 800 there, Coach Ab. Oh yeah, so you make little gadgets and things, eh? Oh yeah, I see you mucking around with milling and stuff like that. That's kind of neat. It's neat stuff.
Welcome to Koshav Shavit. Thank you all for tuning in. So in this video, I'm going to just give you a visual comparison of the Ledger Nano S and the Ledger Nano X. And while I give you that visual comparison,
Okay, I'm gonna end it right now, and I will see you guys later in the day. Okay, take care.